Andrew?
Adrian, thanks for having me once again.
Always
to
a
my own
pleasure.
podcast.
Today we're going to talk about asset protection and business structuring. Andrew, what do you think are some of the thoughts people should have around this sort of topic?
Yeah, okay. I guess really when people are starting to get into business, I'll start with a startup business. That's something I think that should be considered when they're thinking about their business structure. Quite often, they might be keen to get started in business and go the sole trader road. But as we know, a sole trader road provides little or no asset protection for that person. So over time, when their wealth builds and their business builds, there is a valuable asset there that needs protecting. And I think having that discussion up front, talking about the structure and how they can protect their wealth going forward is very important.
Absolutely. I think sole trader, a very simple way to start.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't do, or what people don't really take into consideration, are probably the three considerations, I guess, for me: commercial acceptance, asset protection, and then your income tax. So sole trader, very good, but I guess from a tax position, if you start making good money, it's not effective, and asset protection is the other big risk.
Yeah.
Really simple, commercial acceptance, no problem, but the asset protection and your tax liabilities are some of your issues there.
Yeah,
Very similar with a partnership, asset protection, there's no separation there from the risk of the business to what's actually going on, the personal equity in your assets.
Yeah.
So really good, simple structures, but inherent limitations there.
Absolutely. Yeah, which again, this leads on to, I guess you can't have this conversation without talking about trusts and companies. I guess companies are very popular trading entity in Australia.
Probably the most common, it's certainly got that commercial acceptance.
Yep.
It's got your asset protection.
Yes.
As long as you're doing the right thing.
Yep. And a pretty good tax rate.
Flat tax rate at 27.5%, so
right.
Lots of benefits there.
Yeah.
But again, can be a little bit more costly and possibly a little bit more complicated for some people to get their heads around.
Yeah. And then I guess that leads on to the trusts, which are, well, that's a whole new ball game, I suppose. Can be very effective with taxation when used properly, and absolutely provides, structured properly, probably the most effective asset protection tool as well. So it's worthy of consideration. I guess the way I always explain it to clients when they're having a look at their structure is it's almost like a one-off insurance policy. Do it now, do it right, spend a bit more money now, and then you've got that insurance policy in place for forevermore.
Absolutely, I'm a big believer in beginning with the end in mind. So taking that little bit of extra time to give it some thought, what does the future look like? If it costs you a little bit more money up front, it's like that insurance policy. Yep. Once you're into a structure, it can be very hard to unwind or costly. So if you go and take that time, spend a little bit more on that setup, you can have a lot better outcomes long term.
Definitely, but it's certainly not something that if you haven't done your structuring up front or got it right on the outset, or your business has gone gangbusters and it's something you really couldn't have predicted, there is always opportunities to restructure down the track. We do a fair bit of that, it's quite common, and using, I guess, quite often the small business tax concessions. We can also sometimes get cost base up steps for capital gains. It's a whole heap of things you can look at later on as well.
And that's right, it's probably one of the other considerations is access to those concessions.
Yep.
So making sure you're structured appropriately. So there's no one size that fits all. So what it is sitting down, weighing up your situation, what it is you want to achieve, and then deciding on what is best fit at that time. But as always, review as you're going, because circumstances always change. There's opportunities there for restructuring and getting better outcomes.
Yep. I also think people need to consider superannuation when they're talking about asset protection as well. I guess money held within superannuation is off limits to creditors. So in the event that a business has issues or something like that, or they have a left field claim that comes against them that they didn't see coming, having wealth within superannuation once again is a really simple and effective tool to hold your wealth and keep it protected away from your business risks.
Absolutely, and for a lot of small businesses, mums or dads, sole traders out there, their business is their super. So unless they go and take steps to go into a super path or find other ways to develop assets outside of that exposure, there's real chance there that everything can go down. So don't put all your eggs in the one basket, preferably.
Yep.
But be aware. Always take advice. Good advice.
Absolutely.